The feathers have dried. Unfortunately, yesterday it was cloudy, so they had to dry overnight. And so here's I'm gonna trim that into a wing. And I'm gonna peel these off. Okay. Now see, there's glue on the back here. See, that looks kind of plasticky. I wonder, but you'll never see that. Okay. Now, there's some transparent areas. And then this one with the white. So what I'm gonna do is trim these. Let's see. What was my intention? My intention was to do 3 of them and then put them on the bird. That's kind of long. And what was my measurement? The tail to the shoulder was about as long as the tail would be. So I'm gonna trim these down.
Got my nice little, this is kind of wiggly.
So I'm gonna cut all of that off. Now let's see, that cut off all the loose fibers or the overhang. Just cut that off. See, and I want that tail to go up nice and high. Look, I've already needle felted most of this bird. I got the legs in there with his little pork chops and everything. So I got his eye and this little fuzz on the back of his head. And I want to poke that in. That seems pretty good to me. So if that's the case, I wanted this middle one in here. So I'm gonna trim this. Remember, I added more white than I needed for the trimming. All right, so I was trimming this one. Saying I want to have this one be a little bit shorter. See how nice and stiff that is? So that's pretty good. This one is very opaque, which is good. So apply your, so you could always do it like that too, couldn't I? Have the bottom one. Let's stick with the plan. Now this is a little long here, so I could always cut this off. See, the beauty of this is I can poke into it with a little bit of black. You see? You see that? That works perfectly because your needle will still go through the glue and the wool, so that works out great. Just be careful, don't break your needle. I'm gonna use a heavier needle. This is my purple one. I've got a list under my description of which needles I like to use. So I'll poke that in. I'm going to cut this off. Now sometimes I keep these scraps because I might use them for something. All right, let's get that in there. So see how you can add right in there. Maybe I'll get too much of it, but all right. So I'm still really figuring out how to do this myself. So I'm just doing one at a time or just doing both at the same time. All right, let's see the third feather. Third feather. Now this is big. So let's use this one. You know, it seems to me that I could probably get a nice piece out of that. I'll keep that. I could use that for something. See, the idea is to get this so regular, you know, taken off. Try to cut this like a, you know, like how a feather would go. You know, ooh, that's that. So now, let's put those three together. Bring it down. Bring that down. Cut this off around here. Now, I kind of don't, I like this to look more black, but, all right, so I got them situated. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use, to hold that. Let's see if I can get this through. Uh-huh. It's kind of askew, isn't it? Should put it in the middle, maybe. Easy, easy. Don't break your needle. All right. I'm gonna pull some of this back. Leave some of that at the top. Poke this part in. Now, this is the first time I put the three together. So be careful and just go straight on down. And it's going through. Don't go fast, you'll break your needle, guarantee. Okay, and that holds that together. And I'm going to leave some of this loose at the top. Let's get any stray fibers. Don't look right off of there. See, that stayed together pretty good. And that's a nice base. So, I want to have that tail go up. Alright, that's how my bird's going to be. I really want him, you know, tail in the air. So, I got that like that. And I think that's how it's going to be. So Let's get that in there. Stay. Now remember I had the, alright. That's kind of holding that in place. This side of the bird you're never going to see because I'm putting it in the frame. Alright, I'm going to get him in there. He's going to be sticking out, but maybe he's going to be too big to go in there. So that angle is not right. So I'm going to hold that, poke it in this way. Careful. Still using the purple needle. No, I'm not going to tuck all this in because what I'll do is cut that off. Use some of my core wool to help hold that into shape where I want it. See, it's kind of twisty, so we don't want that. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way. You see here, it's got some nice feathers coming up under there. So once I get this into position, I'll put that orange yellow, which I used this orange, and I mixed it with this very bright lemon. See, they just say yellow. They had to use artistic colors. All right, now see, I've got a little bit too much on here, so just gonna trim that off. That's better. Okay, I need more core wool under here to build up this tail. His buttocks. The buttocks. Let's get this done. I want it to come up the tail a little bit. Now remember, going through these 3 layers, just take your time. You know, what does come in handy is, you know, little sewing pins that you can hold your project down with. So I'll use this again. Problem with this, it sticks up a little too high. You should get some of those sewing pins that have a little head on them, and then I can hold that down in place. I got a box of them around here somewhere. Now I want that to come up high, so I'm going to poke this down this way. Condensing these fibers just, you know, will hold everything into place. So he's looking pretty good.